Right everyone, welcome back to the Fat Centre Back, episode 3. Before we start, I want to appreciate to everyone that has watched episode 1 and 2, liked it, popped a few comments on there and subscribed to the channel. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this, and hopefully with your help I can actually get the channel to grow and we can have some fun together. Today was the plan of doing my journey as well as questions, but the video would have been too long, so today's video is going to be around my struggle with mental health a couple of years ago. So I wanted to share that with you so you get a bit of insight of my background as well. It's not just all fun and games with playing football and gaming, as you can see behind me. Yeah, so what happened to me was, I think I'm 3 years without a serious episode. We had a holiday in Wales, just a normal, caravan holiday, and I was just driving down with the family, and I started feeling a bit like just generally unwell, but my headspace didn't feel right, which was strange. I never had that feeling before when I was driving. But I carried on the journey down to Wales, and when I got to, obviously, the caravan started, my mind was off things. The feeling went, so I thought it must have just been like a little bit of a of episode of feeling a bit unwell or whatever it could have been. And we were there for 5 days and didn't have any other feelings at all. And then once the holiday was over and we were on our way home, I got the feeling again, and this time it hit me a bit harder. I was just like, what is this feeling? This is strange. I've been fine all week and now I'm getting this feeling again going home while I'm driving. Maybe is it just a bit of travel sickness, maybe, because I had it on the way there and I've got it on the way back. But seeing out the journey once again, we decided, you know what, let's go out. So we dropped the kids off at her sister's, and before we just go for the pub meal. We've had a long week, it's late in the day, we have a little pub meal and we'll get home for a few hours. So we go to the pub, and as soon as I sit down in the pub and order my food, the feeling come back again. And then the way I can describe it was, it felt like everything around me was just enclosing. The pub wasn't even busy, it was only a few people dotted around the room, and it just felt like everyone was watching me. I couldn't drink anything. It wouldn't, like, my body was like, wouldn't let me have water. My food come, and and it just made me so ill that I had to get out of the pub because I was sweating that bad where I started to shake. So I go outside and I just find like a bit of grass on the floor. So I was just sitting there and I was just sweating. At this time now I was spewing up everywhere. So I was like, something's seriously wrong with me, but obviously I don't know what. Lucky enough, a woman come outside, and she said, like, she was an off-duty nurse, and she just started like speaking to me and going through like the issues I was having and when they were happening. And she just came to the conclusion and said, I think you need to speak to your doctor, which I was going to do anyway. Well, I thought she was going to say, because I think you might have like generally unwell, you need to be tested, like get some blood tests or something, which something might be going on. And she just turned around and went, because I think you're depressed. And I was like just looking up at her. I was just like, depressed? And she was like, yeah, you got all the signs of depression and anxiety. I was like, I've got nothing to be depressed before. Just had like a nice time away with the family. We just come home now, drop the kids off, and we've just come out. So I don't know why I would feel depressed and or anxious. And she was like, just trust me, go to your GP and speak to your GP. So I go home, and it's the weekend, and I go home, and the feeling just never went. Like, I remember coming home, getting into bed, and I was just lying on bed, and I was just like sweating and just like shaking. I was like, this is going to be more than just depression. The way I was feeling, I was obviously vomiting. Got through the weekend, just about. It was rough. So contacted the GP, and GP got me in. And yeah, so I don't know if any of you have been for like an assessment before, they give you like a questionnaire, and like you just gotta like circle the boxes. Like the questions are like so strange, but when you look back on it, it makes sense. The little things that you don't think that you're doing, you actually are doing, but you just don't think about it. So I've done the questionnaire, and obviously the doctor turned around to me and said, yeah, going by obviously what you've put down here, I can tell you that you are having a bit of a depression moments as well as anxiety. I was just like speaking to it, like I don't know how. I'm fine, like nothing bad's happened, or you know, I was just getting on, going to work, going to footy, nothing really that bad. And she went, can you break down the last 5 years for me? I was like, okay. So in the 5 year period, I had two grandparents pass away. I had two kids in close time and achievements, like I think it's like 16 months maybe between the both kids. And obviously then I had one of my closest mates pass away as well. And she went, well, there you go, that's where the issues are coming from. I was like, but I've dealt with everything. Obviously the passing's away, I've dealt with it in my own time, and I feel fine. And obviously the kids, I went, well, just not kids. And she went, no, what is your routines being changed with the kids? So what your life was before your kids has now dramatically changed. So your whole routine's gone out, and your body has stored all those issues over the 5 years, and now it's slowly releasing them into your body. I was just like, this, like, surely that this is like, can I get a blood test, because obviously I feel a bit sick, I need to know what's going on. And she was like, no, this is it. I was like, okay. So she prescribed me sertraline, and any of you that have had the pleasure of having a sertraline, you could probably understand more of the feeling. So I took one, and then within 30 minutes, I went from just being like stuck in this strange bubble, like everything around me, just like there was no care in the world. Everything felt like it was going dead slow. I felt dead drowsy. Didn't really speak much. You just get put in like this weird bubble where you just don't want to talk to no one. Couldn't eat, literally could not eat, could not drink. It was strange because your body, even for water, your body was like, you try to put the water into your mouth, and like you get that sensation that you're going to spew up constantly. So obviously I thought, no, I'll keep the doctor's advice and keep onto these sertraline. So I was taking the sertraline, and he said to give it 4 weeks, you know, to get like properly installed, 6 weeks in his system. But the way they made me feel, I didn't want to feel like that anymore. For 6 weeks, I can honestly say, I was bedbound. The weight was just flying off me because I couldn't physically eat. I had to have meal replacements, you know, the shakes, and I couldn't even stomach them. Like, even putting a straw to your lips to try and get that into your system, it was just horrific. The battle that you're fighting your own body, really. I was just fighting, just get it in, just get it in. If I'd be sick, just get something into my body. But the worst thing about it was water, like not being able to like be able to have water. It comes to the point where I think it was well, 3 or 4 days in, I could actually then have water with food. There was no. It got to that part where when the kids and Lee had to have food, I had to step away. I had to go outside because the smell was giving me that feeling like I need to spew up. And then it got to the point where after 6 weeks, honestly, I was sweating in bed, like literally I couldn't move, didn't speak to no one. 6 weeks, something just clicked in my head. I was like, oh, this can't be your life now. You need to just battle through it. I know it's easier said than done for some people, but lucky enough I was able to. So I just got up one day, I was like, got my sertraline tablets and just threw them in the bin. I was like, that's it. I am not having these tablets anymore. I will have to just fight through whatever comes my way. And it was horrendous. Like, once I sertraline out your system, all those worries and health anxiety that comes into play, it was just so strange. It was hard if it wasn't for the people around me at the time. Obviously helping me like get in out of bed, making sure I was okay. My mum doing shifts in work and then travelling coming down. No, it's not far, but like she was working I think nights at the time. She was coming down, making sure I was okay, make sure if I needed anything. Obviously the kids were going, the kids in school, either starting school or doing nursery or whatever it was. So she was back and forth with the kids, and she tried her best to keep the kids away from me because I was locked in a room because she didn't want the kids to see the way I was. So that was quite hard. Obviously the kids wanted to come in, see you, and like give you the cuddle and talk to you, but like you couldn't. Like you just couldn't. You were just like going cold turkey. It was not a nice thing. Lucky enough, after I think a week, I started to feel a bit normal myself. I felt like I could carry on with certain normal life duties, like popping the shop and just going for a little walk, getting a bit of fresh air. After a couple more days there, I was like, I need to get back into my routine, get back a routine going, because the routine is so important. So I went back to work, so that was a big bonus. And I got back to football, and then returning back to football. And on the first session, I just ran round the pitch a couple of times, and ended up in the bushes spewing up everywhere. And it's just like, this is just it's going to take a while for me to get myself back to normal. And then just after that, I just sat down on the grass and just watched the lads train. And I was able to take my mind off things then, because obviously people were just coming over talking to me, seeing how I was, and they were sharing their battles with their own mental health. So it was good to hear that. Like obviously you always think it's just you on your own, it wasn't. A lot of lads were going through the same, because not only the players, but like the older staff were going through the same difficulties. So it was good to bounce your feelings off them, and they'll bounce off you, and they'll give you some like tips and ideas what worked for them. Yeah, I think it took me 3 months to get back on the football pitch from that training session, because I couldn't be that much come out of my body that I wasn't able to play football to the level that I was once at. I had to like rebuild everything. So obviously I wasn't like the skinniest person. I've got on too fat now, like try and call the fat centre back. Gone too fat now, but where I lost concerning weight, it was concerning. And I just had no energy, because obviously I didn't have the right food in me, nutrition. I was just living basically off water. So it did take 3 months, and honestly I know I can sit here today, and a lot of people obviously probably not being able to sit here today because they lost a battle with it, or they're still battling with it. I'm still battling with it at the moment. I haven't had a serious episode since I've been able to sort myself out, but I do have my bad days still, and when I have my bad days they come bad. It's like I'll just lock myself in the room, won't speak to anyone, I'll leave my phone, I'll just lie there or put a bit of telly on, but not really paying attention to it, because you're in with your own thoughts. I try and see if I can just sleep it off when I get to that mood, because yeah, it's bad, but I know I don't want to get to the point where I'm going to be rely on medication. So I just separate myself from everyone and just leave. I just like to be left alone for me to just deal with it. I know now how I deal with it when I have my bad day. So it's been a while since I've had a very serious episode, but yeah, this is a lifelong battle. It's not just going to be, oh look, I'm fine now. It's not. Life throws all stuff at you every single day, and obviously we have to adapt to what's thrown our way. But the best thing that ever done to me, and it really does help, was talk. Once I started talking to people where I was comfortable to open up with what happened, it was the best feeling ever. It was like everything that you were carrying, and you let someone in on what's going on. It's like this new release comes out of your body, and then they share their stories with you, and you just feel so much better knowing that you're not alone. You're literally not alone. If any of you are feeling down and depressed, and you just know where to turn, everyone's got some kind of family that they trust. Someone's got a friend. Even if you haven't got, if you're unable to have someone that you trust like that, just go to speak to someone. I know it's not as easy as like, oh yeah, hi, my name's such and such, and yeah, look at my problems. But there is someone that you need to trust and that you can just speak to, and it helps a lot. Even if you don't have anyone, just pop me a message. You've got me TikTok, the Fat Centre Back on TikTok. You've got my Twitter, which is still Bullbag, but it comes on Fat Centre-back. Yeah, even Facebook, if you've got Facebook Bullbag Gaming on there, just pop a message. I'm happy enough to sit there and share my experience with you, and if I can help you in any certain way, then feel free. But my best advice is talk about it, and if you can, come off your medication if you can, because your body's just going to get used to it so much that it's going to rely on it. If you're at the early stages of your medication, try and get off it as soon as possible. If you want, you don't want to go down my route and throw it in the bin. Keep it there. You never know when you might need it for a rainy day where you have a really bad day and you just need to be put in a bubble. You know, your sertraline there or whatever medication they put you on these days is there, and you can just take one, just like chill out for or whatever, how long you need to be, just to get yourself sorted. But my best advice is, if you can get off your medication, get off your medication. If you can go and see someone like a therapist to talk to, then please ask your GP if you can recommend you to someone. I know the waiting list is massive, but yeah, either come off your medication, get a therapist, or speak to someone you trust and just open up, and trust me, you'll feel a lot better. So thank you for watching my mental health discussion. I hope it's helped some of you that may be going through it, and say always feel free to get in touch if you need to. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, lads and girls and boys and everyone. It helps the channel grow, and I will see you in the next episode.